Wow! Meghan Markle and her spare Prince Harry have struck an amazing new deal with Netflix. Or have they? The delighted Duchess declaring in a carefully worded press release how proud they are to extend their partnership and expand their work together. So, brilliant! Another 5-year contract worth $100 million, yeah? Oh, no, wait a minute. It's not quite as lucrative as that. In fact, the jury is out on whether or not the gruesome twosome's new relationship with the streaming giant is worth very much at all. If you were sucked in by Ms. Markle's gushing announcement, you'd have thought that nothing had changed. So thrilled are Netflix bosses with their royal recruits that they're only too happy to hurl yet more mountains of money at the super successful Sussexes. But is that actually the case? I don't think so. Read between the lines of what looks like a classic slice of Meg spin, and a rather different reality emerges. This is a first look agreement which amounts to Netflix executives telling the difficult Duchess and hopeless Harry, if you got any good ideas, come to us first and we'll let you know if we're interested. If we're not, by all means, shop around elsewhere. Whether there's a small financial retainer involved, we don't know. But even if there is, it won't amount to even a tiny fraction of the megabucks they've been receiving since 2020. And if the not famously productive Sussexes stay true to past feeble form and don't come up with decent ideas, the reduction in the immense income to which they become accustomed will hit them horribly hard. With their massive Montecito mansion and planet-destroying private jet travel to pay for, the King and Queen of California's luxury lifestyle is staggeringly expensive. Losing $20 million a year is the last thing they need. But in fairness to the self-styled golden couple, raking in the Netflix lolly is not a total dead duck. Warning! The second series of the unacceptably awful With Love Meghan is all set to hit the screen. And if the traumatically trite trailer is anything to go by, incredibly, Season 2 promises to be even worse than Season 1. No mean feat. Her ladyship still finding new ways to show people you care by foisting amateur cooking on them while she just loves these moments of discovery and beauty. What the hell is she droning on about? Lots of stupefying shots of average-looking salads, pastries and flowers. Just as she did in the first series, Meghan manically cutting and slicing fruit, bread and pretty much anything she can put a knife to, surrounded by a pathetic posse of simpering sycophants acting like they're witnessing the invention of the wheel, a nauseating, swirling mass of twee twaddle for 90-year-olds, and the shock revelation that Harry doesn't like lobster. At last, something I have in common with old Ginger Nuts. But there, I'm glad to say, the similarities end. But if the grim prospect of more of Madame's life-sapping domestic goddess drivel isn't bad enough, now Marvellous Meg is threatening to serve up a festive special optimistically called Holiday Celebration, dooming those who make the mistake of tuning in to a very unhappy Christmas. Savour the wildly OTT publicity puff. Together, friends and family deck the halls, create holiday feasts, craft heartfelt gifts, and share lots of laughs. But of course, there'll be no sign of Meghan's family, her father, her brother, and her sister, all having been ruthlessly removed from her faux aristocratic world. And not a hint of Harry's royal family, none of whom talk to their sulky renegade relative anymore after the disgraceful disrespect he has shown them since running away from his regal duties. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, has never met his ginger son-in-law and never set eyes on his grandchildren. King Charles hasn't seen Archie and Lilibet for years and no longer trusts the petulant prince who turned on him. So much for for the Sussexes' family Christmas. Also part of the Duke and Duchess's new unimproved deal is a documentary all about Uganda's HIV/AIDS crisis. Exuding Harry's white saviour-style worthiness, the short film Massacre Kids, A Rhythm Within doubtless tells an important story. But without wishing to seem heartless, its commercial potential is less than zero. In other news, still with Harry's Africa fixation, after he flounced out of his children's charity Centrebale amid a row over his alleged colonialist leadership, the dim Duke is reported to be devastated. As usual, in times of trouble for her hapless husband, Meghan has maintained a wall of silence. Why is that? Discuss. Now, before we do discuss all of this, here is the promotional video for the second series of With Love, Meghan, You Have Been Warned.
So comforting.
Very comforting.
Often when I want to make or things I want to share, this looks fantastic. There are easy ways to show up lovingly.
That actually is giving me goosebumps. That is so lovely.
Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't like lobster either, as I said in my monologue. But here's a much better trailer. Welcome to my beautiful home. What do you mean it's not my fucking home? Every morning I pick beautiful flowers from my beautiful garden and I feed them to my beautiful children. So what if you haven't got a fucking garden? I haven't really got any children. I hate fucking bees. Get me out of this bee suit now. I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it. You know, like my husband. It's so funny that people keep calling me Meghan Markle because it's Meghan Sussex now. It's Meghan f***ing Sussex. Meghan f***ing Sussex. Meghan f***ing Sussex. Yeah, well, Samara, after that trailer, I'm now going out with myself because I'm very
you're
attracted.
very dishy.
I love
Very
myself.
gorgeous.
Well, I always have loved myself, but now I'm sexually attracted to myself. So we make a great couple. But seriously, the promo, the new series. Let's actually, before we get to that, let's talk about the Meg spin. You know, depressingly, so many newspapers fell for it, hook, line and sinker. She obviously put this statement out, oh yeah, we've extended our deal, it's fantastic, it's fantastic. If you looked at the headlines, for example, in the New York Times and the Hollywood Reporter, they told the real story. Downgraded deal. That was Hollywood Reporter. They said Netflix downgrades its deal with Harry and Meghan. The New York Times says Netflix loosens its ties with Harry and Meghan. That was the true story. What this is, I mean, you know, it's almost like you or me. You know, if we've got an idea, go to Netflix, and if they like it, they'll make it. So that, as I said in my monologue, there may be a small retainer involved, but essentially what this adds up to is Harry and Meghan have just lost $20 million a year.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Meghan is a massive scam artist. First of all, that season was filmed alongside season 1, so that was already in the can beforehand. It's not like she's come out and said, oh, actually, we've been filming this the whole time. You've said that my contract's cancelled. Not true. And second of all, the swathe of guests that she's had on are all people who have Netflix shows already on the platform and have actually invited themselves then onto the show. So it's a very artificially curated second season. She's got Jay Shetty, who's a disgraced guru. She's got Tan France, who's on Queer Eye, and she's got a swathe of other random guests. Well,
It's a great show.
Queer Eye!
There's no issue with him being on Queer Eye, but it's a Netflix show, so it must have been within his contract to appear on there.
Yeah.
So yet again, we're not seeing any of her authentic relationships. There's no Oprah, there's no Gayle King, there's no Tyler Perry cropping up. So the whole thing is actually a real farce, and I'm not falling for it. I'm glad you aren't too, Kev.
And who's that supermodel on it?
The fact that you can't name it and that I can't remember.
Tegan.
Oh, Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, she's the one who had big trouble because she bullied a teenager online.
to death. Yes.
Yeah.
The teenager then killed herself. So it's nice to know
Perfect
that's
for
who
Meghan,
Yeah,
then.
perfect.
Yeah, well, they're just a collection of paid sycophants, and you know, like in real life, Ash. Can you imagine it? Imagine all of us and a few of our mates, and someone's in the middle going, oh, look, I put some string around some biscuits, and oh, look, I'm crumbling cheese. And us are all going, oh, wow, that's amazing. It's the second coming. I mean, it's
Just needs a bit of
ridiculous.
But you say they filmed it at the same time as the first, so they couldn't tweak it, because they know the first one was rubbish, and now they've got to put out a second. They could at least try, if they'd waited a bit, they could have said, oh, well, that didn't work. But how's a Christmas thing going to work with just her and Harry there? She won't have any family at all.
I'll tell you this, Harry is very unlikely to be in it. I mean, he made a very, very fleeting appearance in the first series, right at the very end. Literally came in, had a quick drink and went. And I believe in the second series, which I suppose I will subject myself to for professional reasons, I believe he's not in it at all.
So you mean...
So the chances are he won't appear in the
So it'll just be Meghan on her own having a Christmas dinner and pulling her own
with
cracker.
that posse of pathetic sycophants.
Yeah,
Going, oh, look, amazing, look.
It's embarrassing.
Look, she's made a salad.
It's embarrassing.
She'll say some crap like, friends of the family you choose. It's like, maybe think about the fact that you pushed your entire family and Harry's family away. I mean, the thing is that her authenticity is right out the door here. We know the facts. We know, as you said in your monologue, that she doesn't speak to any one of her family members. She's got terrible relationships behind the scenes, even with her staff, who she pays to be around her. So why are we going to eat up this holiday special? It's not going to happen.
And also, Ash, it's a very, very old-fashioned format. This sort of domestic goddess stuff. And as Martha Stewart said, a real domestic goddess, the queen of them all, America's famous Martha Stewart, she said, well, she sort of questioned, she sort of said, well, look, you can't just stand up and say, I'm a domestic goddess. You have to have the skills.
It's inauthentic, isn't it?
And Meghan is just someone... who's an amateur cook. Big deal.
I mean, it sort of suggests, because Netflix, you'd have thought, would have got involved after all the calamities, but obviously they can't even think of anything really to do with her. Do you know what I mean? What are you going to do with her? The only thing that would be a good show is if she sort of came out and gone, yes, I've used everybody, and I've got rid of all my family, and tell a whole story of how she got to where she is.
Yeah, and I mean, Netflix in this instance, they must be absolutely not caring about getting a young audience, because this drivel, this old-fashioned drivel, will not be of any interest to anyone under the age of 93. I'll guarantee you that. I spoke to Kinsey Schofield the other night about this very topic, and this is Kinsey reacting to the first look deal.
I'd say this is a pretty big downgrade. This is not what they were hoping for to maintain their American lifestyle. But it saves them both from embarrassment. Netflix did not want to have the same egg on their face that Spotify had when they had to admit that they had mismanaged thousands of dollars when it came to offering the Sussexes a deal with, the Spotify deal. I mean, Netflix had to go to their investors and say, we made a huge mistake. We're sorry that we spent such a significant amount of money and the return on investment wasn't there. And Netflix didn't want to have the same conversation with their investors and with their staff. So what they're doing is they're saying, oh, no, we didn't make a mistake. We're going to hold on to them. We think they've got something left in them, but they're not having to fork over the amount of money that they did the first go round, which that type of money and opportunity, I just don't think exists anymore.
Exactly the same thing has happened to the Obamas. The Obamas had a similar deal with Netflix, and a similar, very lucrative deal. And after, 2-3 years, Netflix turned around and said, tell you what, let's make it a first look deal. First look just doesn't mean anything. As I say, sometimes a first look deal involves a very small retainer. So you come to them first. But basically, it may well not involve any money at all. It's just like our door is open to you, and if you have a good idea, we'll talk.
Totally. I mean, what it's revealed is this really harsh reality for Harry and Meghan and the Obamas, that being a TV producer is actually an extremely hard job, and you can't just walk in from any path in life and pretend that you're some sort of superstar producer person. And that's actually what's happened to both of them. They've thought that it's easy. You can just think up an idea for a show and execute it and la-di-da. Harry and Meghan are not television producers. That's what we've found out about this. And the first look deal is like, there's nothing they want a first look into because their numbers are shocking.
They're hoping for a divorce.
Produce.
That's what, with probably the Obamas as well. If
you're right.
If something happens,
you're right.
then they've got the first dibs on that.
Are on,
that would be a winner.
Divorce watch.
Yeah,
divorce
That's
watch.
what they're hoping for. That's the winner there.
Yeah, I mean, also, I do think genuinely, you know, they probably think, well, you never know.
They might, yeah.
You know, Harry and Meghan might come to us with something that's worth making. It's pretty unlikely. But also maybe Netflix might have an idea. I could come up with some ideas that people would watch with those two, but they probably wouldn't want to be involved. I also spoke to Kinsey about this... the daunting prospect of the Christmas special. So they're going to make this holiday celebration Christmas special of With Love, Meghan.
Which, by the way, does it even occur to you that this is Meghan, who has no contact with her family whatsoever? She doesn't speak to 99.9% of her family, trying to tell us how to Christmas. Yeah. And this is the holiday that the Princess of Wales has really established for herself in the UK with her Christmas Carol concert. The audacity that, and honestly, how many times do we see the holiday season is a faith-based season? We regularly see the Princess of Wales walking into chapel, walking into the church, sitting in pews. King Charles, Prince William, we regularly see these people in church. We understand that they are a family built on faith. We recognize that, we appreciate it, and it's part of the gig. Harry and Meghan never talk about Jesus Christ. They never talk about Buddha. They never talk about faith. It's never on their radar. But Meghan wants to teach us how to Christmas.
What makes me laugh about that show, Kinsey making good points again there. You know, this is trailed as, you know, the family Christmas and all the, you know, both of them don't talk to their families. You know, Meghan has just ruthlessly cut her family out of her life, I think for snobbish reasons, because they don't fit in. I mean, they're down-to-earth people, the Markles. Decent people, but they're not highfalutin, they're not aristocrats, so she wants to pretend she's some sort of royal personage. Well, she's not, but they don't fit in. Meanwhile, Harry's family can't stand him and don't talk to him anymore. No one talks to him because they don't trust him anymore. So this idea of the family Christmas, really, really hypocritical, but mainly looking at those clips from Series 1 and Series 2, just Meghan the whole time. Just cutting things,
and none of the
slicing.
That was a cake from Marks and Spencer's, but I mean, you know, you can't recognise anyone who's there, and that tells you something, because she is quite famous and high profile, and yet you don't know any of the celebrities there. They're not even celebrities, are they?
Well, no, she has to buy those people in.
Yeah.
She gets no one worth a light. No proper celebrities go within a mile.
She's toxic grandma.
She's toxic.
Yeah.
She's very toxic.
Much. Yeah, I mean, even if they wanted to spend Christmas with Tyler Perry, he's dealing with his own sexual assault lawsuit that's going on.
Alleged. He denies that.
Alleged. But it's like, what are you going to do, Meghan? I mean, it makes no sense to me what type of story she's trying to curate around her brand.
Yeah. Maybe Bill Cosby would do it.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be less controversial.
We'd all watch that.
We're going to go to bad ad in just a second, but my last point is, Harry's had a torrid time over the last couple of weeks with his Centre charity unravelling, and apparently he's very, very devastated. Now, as I said in my monologue, well, maybe, just maybe, behind closed doors, she's a kind of beacon of inspirational marital support, but she never, ever says anything publicly to support him when he's in trouble. Why is that? I'll tell you what, folks, you let me know in your messages, and we'll discuss that next week. In the meantime, here's a bad ad.
Are you suffering from pungent pits, foul feet, beastly butt odor? How do you stop the stink? Hi, I'm Adam J, and this is Doc Bottom's Ace Spray, the all-new, all-over deodorant that prevents odors before they start and can be used anywhere, and I mean anywhere on your body. Ace Spray goes where other deodorants can't. Ace Spray your butt, Ace Spray your feet, Ace Spray under your arms, you can even Ace Spray your privates. Ace Spray is safe for all your odor zones. Call and order Doc Bottom's Ace Spray today for only $14.99, and I'll send you the Ace Spray Pocket Shot absolutely free.
Hey, Ash, that's all of our problems over.
I've had 9 years.
I've been struggling with my beastly butt odour for such a long time. Now I can get some of that.
A little can of Aspray.
It's per Aspray, the answer to all my dreams. Let's go to some real ads. What just happened?
mad as hell, it's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is part 2 of this wonderful edition of What Just Happened. Still with Ash, still with Samara. And this is the big moment where we choose the best story of the week. A lot of you probably think that we'd be seduced into boring on about Anchorage in Alaska and Trump meeting Putin. Well, we don't cover minor stories like that. Doesn't matter. We cover the important stories. And the big scoop we're going to have a look at is JD Vance. JD Vance having a holiday, a vacation here in little old England. Take it away.
We've already, in the brief time that we've been here, my kids have fallen asleep on your floor. We've gone fishing in the lake outside, and unfortunately, the one strain on the special relationship is that all of my kids caught a fish, but the foreign secretary did not. I'm sorry.
That is the Foreign Secretary. That's David Lammy there for you watching around the world. He is our absolutely useless, incredibly dumb Foreign Secretary. But he's got this big sort of what they call official stately home that he can use at the weekends. And JD and his wife and his kids stayed there for a few days. And they went fishing. We'll talk about that in a little while. There they are, fishing away. We'll come back to the angling issue in just a second. But the main thrust of JD's vacation was in an area called the Cotswolds, which in America you might like to avoid if you ever come over here, because that's where Ellen DeGeneres lives. It's a very kind of expensive enclave. A bit like Montecito, really, without the sunshine and without Meghan and Harry. So it's got its advantages. Anyway, so they stayed there. Now, you know what liberal Brits are like, you know. They don't like Donald Trump. They don't like Republicans, you know, because they're fascists. So the locals complained about JD.
Georgia and Jonathan live in Dean. They don't like the disruption nor the man responsible.
The fact that it's for JD Vance, you know, Trump's number 2, you know, we don't want that kind of person in our village, and it feels deeply unsettling.
Typical Guardian reading, left-wing British cobblers. Yeah. And JD Vance, actually, you know, whatever you think of his politics, I quite like his politics, actually.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think he comes over as a really nice guy, and he loves Britain, he loves England, just like Trump does. You know, JD Vance and Trump have been criticising Britain because we are undergoing assaults on freedom of speech, freedom of expression, thanks to our repressive, tyrannical socialist government. But I think that Donald and JD's criticisms of Britain come from a position of love, not a position of contempt, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely watching David Lammy's personal and spiritual awakening with the Republicans. I mean, only a couple of years ago, he was at the Trump protests when Trump was coming to visit, and now he's sort of fishing in the Cotswolds with JD Vance, as he has to do, of course, for his job. But it's pretty hilarious. I mean, the JD really has the upper hand here. Just looking through the comment sections, everyone is in love with JD being in Britain, not so in love with David Lammy and Keir Starmer controlling the country. Yeah. So I think it's a power move by Vance, and it's him sort of saying, hey, this is what I think the law should be, and this is how you should govern. But obviously they're not going to listen. I think they're intimidated by him, and I'm kind of impressed by it.
I think that's why he does it.
Yeah, I think, Ash, that some of the locals, what they're a bit fed up about is, so for example, JD went down the local farm shop in a convoy of about 20, you know, black and windowed massive limousines. So they're not happy with that. Also, of course, huge security presence. He's staying in this massive mansion that he's renting. But the reason is it's got walls all the way around it. Huge security presence all the way around, of course. And there's even a no-fly zone above the place so they can't fly drones. So the locals, you know, there's no doubt they've been sort of inconvenienced, but most of their complaints are political, you know, because he's a fascist.
I mean, to me, it looked like when they were fishing, it looked like that. It reminded me of that film. I've never seen it, but I've seen pictures of it, Bareback Mountain, where they're all just sitting there on the...
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback and that
Bareback Mountain.
That's a different
What's that,
film.
a new movie?
Yeah, that's a different film. Actually, it's more like that. But I mean, you know, they were disappointed that Lammy was meeting Vance. I was actually disappointed that Vance... disappointed. Vance meeting Lammy. I'm sort of see the Americans, Trump and Vance, more on the British people's side than our own government.
They are. They are. That's exactly right, Ash. That Donald Trump and JD Vance are sticking up for us.
They're us, yeah.
They are voicing our concerns. We got these socialists, these left-wing lunatics
Communists.
running this country, and they are destroying our freedom of speech. They're sending us to prison for things we write on Facebook and Twitter. You know, social media posts. They're sending people to prison for 3 years.
You call them Nazi.
And JD and Donald are saying this is wrong, and we bloody well agree.
Yeah.
Here's some more protests up there in the Cotswolds.
From Ukraine to Palestine.
Occupation is a crime. Protesters took the place of tourists this evening in a country JD Vance said was infringing free speech. But he won't have heard them in the secure seclusion of his holiday home.
Yeah, well, there you have it. They don't get it. They don't get it. JD is fighting the good fight on our behalf, and those idiots don't know it. They just go, Trump and Vance, you know, they're right wing, they're right wing. Anyway, let's return to the fishing. Because there's a sting in the tail. As JD said, one of the funny aspects of it was that, JD and David Lammy and JD's kids all go fishing in the lake, the private lake in Chevening, the official stately home of our Foreign Secretary. JD and the kids all caught fish. Yeah. Lammy didn't. But here's the thing. In Britain, maybe around America as well, other countries, you need a licence to fish. And even though that effectively is David Lammy's lake, he required a licence and he didn't have one. Somebody reported him. So he's had to write to our Environment Agency and sort of beg to be...
There he's being taken away by the fish police.
He's under arrest there. These are memes, by the way, of course. And to say, I'm really, really sorry, I didn't realise I needed a licence. The licence costs £7.50, around about $10, something like that. But both JD and Lammy face £2,500 fines, so something like $3,500. They could be fined, you know, I kind of hope they get, as I say, wait for it, folks. I hope they get let off the hook.
Well, no one else would, though, would they? It's, again, two-tier system. That should have been a real picture, you know, him being taken away with Vance.
I think that's a little repressive.
Right, but anyone who gets done now can just say...
A couple of guys take a couple of kids fishing. You want the law to come down on them like a ton of bricks.
Sure, if the couple of guys weren't David Lammy, who's one of these stickler for the rules Labour types who loves to enforce every single policy on its citizens. I mean, this is the same guy who is making pub owners go broke and shut up shop because of his stupid policies. So I haven't got time for him at all. I think he should pay it up.
£2,500. Quite funny. But as I say,
catch a fish, though,
if you want to know what JD talking about to the fact he caught fish or his family caught fish and Lammy didn't, being bad for Anglo-American relations, I'll tell you what would be really bad for Anglo-American relations is if JD Vance gets a £3,500 fine for fishing with the Foreign Secretary. That would be bad for relations. But I just think that this week, you know, who cares about Anchorage? Who cares about Alaska? You know, and the summit between Putin and Donald Trump when JD Vance has been stealing the scenes in Britain. He really has stolen all the headlines. And I think despite those idiots protesting against him, I think he's made his mark. I think a lot of people liked him. I certainly did. I like JD Vance, and I suspect he might be the next president of the United States. Definitely the most effective, high-profile vice president in American history, because they're always like, they're backroom boys and girls, aren't they? You hardly ever hear from them.
Even Cheney, actually.
No. They're never high-profile people. They're always overshadowed by the president. JD Vance, he's right up there.
I like the way he comes in quite softly, but then he comes in quite... I like he made that German guy cry. I wonder if Lammy cried, but he's good at being gentle and then coming in with the hard truth.
He's playing it very well, though. He's actually not overshadowing Trump, which is would be a very bad move.
He's got it just playing it just about right. Next president of the United States, I hope. I really do hope. Let's go to a bad ad.
You want to stay covered after being wet, but your towel just won't let. Robes are heavy and hot, and towels with fasteners? I think not. Now there's the wearable towel. The towel with arm openings. The wearable towel keeps you totally covered and gives you the freedom to use your hands. Great for getting the paper. Ideal to wear before a swim. This is not sold in stores, so hurry while supplies last. Call right now. You'll qualify for the wholesale discount price of only $19.95. As an added bonus, we'll give you this backpack absolutely free.
Well, there's another way you can sort of handle that situation. It's called a bathrobe. And I'm just warning everyone out there, if you do get a wearable towel, you know, that sort of toga thing, and you go out to get your newspaper in the morning, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Stay indoors. You'll probably get arrested. But try a bathrobe, it's probably better. Let's go to some real ads. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is part 3 of this edition of What Just Happened. And around the world, our viewers in America, Australia, Canada, Latvia, all around the world, I just want to introduce you to balmy Britain. This country, some of the things we do, it's just mad. Right, so we've got problems with our police forces. They're not very good, basically. They've stopped solving crime. Got about a 2% conviction rate of all crimes. They're hopeless. They've all gone woke. You know, they prefer to sort of side with the criminals rather than the victims. They're useless, absolutely useless. It's a real problem here in this country. And just as an indicator for you that our cops here in this country tend to get their priorities wrong, in a county called Surrey, a big constabulary, the Surrey Constabulary, the police force, this is what they think is a good use of taxpayers' money. They've set up the Jog Squad. This is undercover female police officers posing as joggers to catch catcallers. Take it away.
These women aren't friends out for a run. They're actually undercover police officers taking to the streets in Surrey as part of a new operation trying to stop people catcalling and harassing female runners. And police teams are ready to intervene the moment the officers are beeped at, followed or shouted at.
Now, the thing is about catcalling, look, catcalling, wolf whistling and all that, no one's condoning it. It can make women feel uncomfortable and sometimes even threatened. So it's not a great thing, don't get me wrong. But it's hardly the crime of the century. And Surrey police, who've set up this ludicrous jog squad, have conceded. They've admitted, well, it's not a crime to catcall or wolf whistle. But the way we see it, they've actually said this, the way we see it is catcalling is a gateway activity that leads to serious sexual crime. So what they're saying, anyone who goes, you know, shall I do that again?
You're way too good at that.
I could do it without fingers. When they go, how's it? They go,
oh, darling.
That, you know. So anyone who does that, according to Surrey Police, the next stop is you're a rapist. So they're calling it pre-crime, like the Minority Report, that Tom Cruise movie. Yeah. That this is a window into future crime. What a waste of money!
Well, also, it shouldn't be right. This is like these non-crime hate incidents. There's not a crime. The police shouldn't be concentrating on it. They should be solving real crimes and not this Orwellian. It's not even gone through Parliament or even the government. It's the College of Policing. They've decided what the law should be, and it's not. It's a ridiculous law. With a triangle.
Sorry, please say it's not against the law.
It's not against the law.
No, they say that. I mean, they say that.
It's
ridiculous. So this is the Minority Report stuff. It's in case you commit.
So what if you don't stop?
By the way, those two female officers, they're really crap joggers. Speed up.
Yeah.
Speed up. I could walk faster than that. Yeah. What's it like being catcalled then? Oh no, Samara, you won't ever have experienced it.
No, I never get that.
Never
I really don't actually. So yeah, I'm really unsure about. I mean,
no, seriously. As a woman, this is, as I say, catcalling, wolf whistling, it's not good, but, You know, this is a waste of money. There's serious crime going on. We have spiralling crime rates in this country and plummeting conviction rates. And this is what Surrey Constabulary think is a good way to spend public money. It's a disgrace.
It absolutely is. And we're slipping into a nanny state where you can't even... Well, it's actually a form of expression, catcalling. I mean, it's not the ideal form of expression.
Form of expression?
Well,
yeah, it should be protected.
Express yourself.
We should be protected to wolf whistle.
Yeah, but you should be allowed to do it if we're claiming that we're a free country. I mean, if you heard this story happening in North Korea, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. You'd be like, oh, yeah, they're trying to silence people. But the issue is, as you said, there are mass rapes going on. There are grooming gangs. It's quite frankly an insult that the police would spend time trying to track down wolf whistlers when there are rapists free on the streets right now. It's ridiculous.
It really,
and it's
really
boiling
is.
my blood, actually, because it is not, as a woman, I will tell you, getting catcalled is not then, oh, yeah, I'm going to rape you. That's not what happens.
Shall I tell you a story, right? So when I was at university, many years ago, literally in the last century, actually the century before that, it was the 19th century, Queen Victoria was on the throne at the time. No, seriously, when I went to university, in the vacations, summer holidays, I used to work on building sites. And so I'd be among all these guys. And every time a girl walked past, they'd go, oh, I got it!
Well, that was part of the job back then.
Yeah. So I'd start off being a middle-class kid going, oh, this is really bad, really awful. Anyway, so... but after about 3-4 weeks, when in Rome, so they go, oh! So I go, oh! Anyway, but I noticed the girls, the same girls used to go past every day. And I noticed the ones that quite liked it. One of them was really good looking. So I sort of approached her and I went out with her.
So
catcalling can be a really good thing.
Yeah, wow,
It's the old-fashioned equivalent of a dating website.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't actually even happen anymore because sort of these construction sites and everything are so unionised and so sort of restricted, and you have to have your tea time at the certain time and everything. They're not like that. That's just what I haven't seen. But
I think but you don't get it very much anymore. People on construction sites, men working generally, are discouraged from doing that, and I think that's probably for the good. But I just think it's no big deal, and we shouldn't be wasting taxpayers' money on the jog squad. Absolutely ridiculous. Right, let's go to viewers' questions. What do you got, Samara?
The Environment Agency has asked people to delete old emails in order to save water. What do you think about that?
I think I'm not going to do it.
How does that work? How do you save
I've got
water?
thousands. I never delete emails.
I think I've got 17,000.
Have you got 17,000? Well, yeah, me too.
It's too many, isn't it?
Millions and millions. Yeah. But this is because here in Britain, uncharacteristically, we've had a pretty hot summer, and water supplies are very low. So we're being told, don't hose your garden and your backyard and all that kind of stuff. And also, incredibly, apparently, having loads of emails means your laptop or your computer uses more power. That needs water. So get rid of your old emails, and that will save water, and we can all have a lovely country with lots and lots of water to drink. Anyway, as for the Environment Agency, delete my old emails, that instruction, stick it where the sun don't shine. Not going to do it. Next.
An extra 1 million people are claiming unemployment benefits since Keir Starmer became Prime Minister. Why has everyone become so lazy?
I'll tell you what, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I'm going to ask Ash that.
Well, it's because...
Why have you become so lazy?
Well, it's because I make more on the dole without being on unemployment than I would if I'm working. So I can sit at home chilling out, watching telly and watch my neighbours getting up in the snow every morning, going to work, and I'm making more than him, just sitting there eating my Twinkie bars and marshmallows, having a fag, and I laugh at them all walking down paying for my rent and food and everything.
It is true. Folks, you want to know this again, people in Britain know this. We got 1 million people on benefits who have been told they never have to work for their entire life. We've got 8 million people on this thing called universal credit, where we pay people benefits and welfare even if they're at work, if they got really low incomes, really low pay. 3.7 million of them never have to go to the work. We have got millions and millions and millions of people on welfare, whether they're working or not. We've got millions of people who have been told, signed off because they've got mental health issues, anxiety or whatever, and they never have to work again, even though they're only 22 years old or something. And guess what our annual welfare bill here is?
Yeah.
£300 billion. This country is addicted to benefits, isn't it?
We are, and it's got this trickle-down effect, actually, because when you have a parent that's on benefits, you then see that as a normal thing, and then you kind of get a child that's like, oh, then we'll get on benefits.
You get whole households on it.
Well, exactly. You get whole households that are basically sucking off the teat of the state, so to speak. And it's a really, really dangerous cycle, and we're getting fewer and fewer. Now we're calling it, the alarm clock generation, or the alarm clock class, sorry.
But anyone
people who actually
go to work. People who actually go to work.
Anyone can move here from around the world and live the rest of their lives on benefits. It's open to everyone around the world at the moment.
That's a massive
We are the worst benefit welfare addict country in the world, and it's going to ruin us. I mean, think about it. OK, we've got a population of about 70 million and rising due to the fact we let millions of migrants in every year. God knows
about 1.5 million every year.
Gross. So illegal and legal, they're just pouring in. So we've got this population of about 70 million. About 10 million of them are on benefits.
Yeah.
You know, so if you work at the working population, working age population is probably 50 million? So about a fifth of them, 20% of them, are on welfare, are on benefits. That is not sustainable. That is a country that's going to go to the dogs pretty damn quickly. This country is going to the dogs, folks. We're in big trouble.
Some nationalities, like, they've never worked. They've moved here, and like 34% of certain nationalities have never worked in their lives.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. So we let all these asylum seekers in, you know, but literally, you know, sometimes they're hundreds of thousands a year. And then we let them go on benefits. We pay them benefits for the rest of their lives. Yeah. They never have to work. I mean, it's just crazy. No wonder they keep coming here.
Yeah, the American audience must be like, what?
And once you're in, you can bring your family, and some are up to 20 members of their family come. You've got to pay for all of them for the rest of their lives.
We forget that word gets around about how lucrative this country is, and the WhatsApp chats go off, and people just want to...
If you're lazy and you don't want to work for the rest of your life, Britain is the country for you. Got another question, Samara?
The Met Office has told people that they should sleep downstairs during the current heat wave. Would you take their advice?
No. Next question.
Well, my neighbour lives downstairs, so that would be a bit weird if I went down to my neighbour's flat.
Because you're in a flat.
Me too.
Excuse me. Met Office says I've got to sleep down here. Why? Why?
I feel like they...
Is that because heat rises?
I think so, yeah. It has something to do with
the
it.
The Met Office have become like climate change extremists.
Yeah.
They're extremist activists. This is our weather office, our official meteorological office here in Britain. They've become like left-wing climate change extremists. They keep telling us every time the sun comes out, we're all going to die. This is due to global warming, and we've got to stop using fossil fuels. You know, they could just do one. Let's go to a bad ad.
Alan, Shotty, Osmelda and me are out on safari, as you can see. We eat whatever's on the spot, but we'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Oh yeah, Kellogg's Cocoa Pops taste so chocolatey, they even turn the milk brown. So we'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops.
Is that a British ad?
Australian.
Yeah, I remember
Australian.
that. Oh, is it? It was British. I remember that.
I didn't realise.
It's British.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, they probably just sent it to you as well.
Yeah, but I wasn't allowed to eat them. This is like triggering me. Yeah, I'm very triggered by this ad.
I used to. When I was a kid, my favourite was Sugar Puffs.
Yeah, I mean,
the more sugar, the better.
Well, that's all they had back then.
They were great Sugar Puffs. They still do them. They probably don't.
They do, yeah.
The Honey Monster.
Let's go to a break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back, part 4 of this unbelievably good edition of What Just Happened with Ash and Samara. And this is the complaints department where we go through some of your messages, thousands every week. We do appreciate it. I know I say that every week, but I mean it. Even if you insult us and you criticise us. So here we go, the complaints. What have we got, Samara?
Pumpkin Rose has said, love you guys. I'm watching from Lincoln, Nebraska, where we are having quite the thunderstorm. You are keeping me company. Samara's hair looks very nice today. Oh, that's so sweet. Lincoln, Nebraska.
Nebraska, now there's a state for
Nebraska, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Omaha once. Well, maybe, what was it? Pumpkin Rose, yeah?
Yeah.
Pumpkin Rose. Well, let us know next week. How is Omaha, Nebraska? Because I went there back in the 90s when I was living in the States. And I got to say, it was very run down. It was like kind of boarded up city, you know, all the shops and everything. So lovely state.
The whole of America.
Somebody
like
just said in my ear, sounds like London.
Yeah, it sounds like this country.
Yeah, it's not as bad as London, obviously, but let us know, Pumpkin Rose, how things are in Nebraska these days, because it's a lovely state, but it was a bit run down, I seem to remember. Ash, what have you got?
This is from Susan. It says, I have to disagree with Samara, as Harry as well know have had awful personality issues well before that awful woman came along, though it did get worse after she came into the picture. Well, yeah, she...
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, he's definitely worse, isn't he?
But I said that, actually. I said he writes about it in Spare, about how he loved, like, sort of bashing his brother up, and we spoke about the dog bowl.
Well, yeah, he always loses.
Yeah, but he wasn't miserable in the old day before her. He's now miserable all the time.
Yeah, I suppose we didn't... I mean, it just...
He was way more likeable.
You don't sort of tend to really get to know people in the public eye. They're just sort of images.
Yeah.
But he seemed to be a very amiable guy, got on well with people.
He was a bit of a plonker, now he's a miserable plonker.
But he was brilliant at royal visits and things. He really did connect with people.
Yeah.
So we liked him, and we liked the fact he was always on the sauce and hanging out with nude girls in Las Vegas, you know. With old Harry, what goes on in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas. It hit the front pages of the papers. He never gets away with anything, does he? Ash?
Kevin, what do you keep doing to your hands? This is from Angela. Every week there are bandages. Be more careful.
Oh.
What have you been doing?
I burnt them.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in Barbados at Christmas.
What were you doing?
I fell asleep with my arms in the sun for
Oh,
about 2
see.
hours. And all the skin came off, and I'm still...
Oh, my God.
It's coming back, but well spotted. I was hoping I got away with that. Anyway, Samara.
Dressage says, let Ash speak more and stop interrupting him. That's probably towards me.
That's all right.
Who says that?
Dressage.
Dressage.
Ooh, dressage.
Yeah. Is that a horse riding person?
Yes, it is.
Sounds like
it is.
Margaret...
Sorry, I'm just interrupting you, Ash.
No, I'm used to it. Margaret Fogarty says, I love your rants, Kevin. You have the real ability to see through all the crap dished out by manic Meg and hypocrite Harry.
You see, that's the sort of language I use in my monologue.
She's got,
alliteration is the key.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, seriously, what was the lady's name again?
It was Margaret Fogarty.
Margaret, yeah. I think what it is, it's because of my great age. You just get to a point where you can see through everything.
Yeah.
You know, so young, shall we say younger journalists, they say, oh, look, Meghan's announced that she's got a new deal with Netflix. Isn't that... Oh, we didn't think she was going to get a new deal, but she has. Incredible. So people like me, seen it all before, saying, wait a minute, let's have a look at this. She hasn't got a new deal, you know.
Exactly.
That's probably what it is. You know, with age comes scepticism. Ash?
This is from Sylvia Annette. Ash, your best line ever is never take advice off Prince Andrew about how old your girlfriend should be. I laughed so hard I snorted and accidentally startled my puppy.
That was a very good line. That was a very...
It's true, though,
Have you
isn't
seen that story this week? I mean, he's such an oaf, such a pompous... He still doesn't realise, you know, he thinks he's got the right to look down on people. It's like, Andy, if you're watching, the entire world, everyone on the face of the planet has the right to look down on you because you are the worst person on the face of the earth. And he's been, like, shouting at builders because they've been putting speed humps out near his house. What are you doing? What are you doing? Shut up, you oaf. Go away. and never show your rotten face in public again. Do us that favour. Let's go to a bad ad.
Over 1 million women around the UK are at it. They've replaced their multi-purpose cleaners with Silitbang Universal Degreaser.
It's great on worktops. I don't need any other cleaner.
The grease on my hob used to drive me mad, but Silitbang takes care of it. I even use it on my pots and pans. Amazing.
Hobs, grills, surfaces, pots and pans.
It's so wonderful.
Silitbang Universal Degreaser. Bang, and the dirt is gone.
And on that Silitbang bombshell, that is the end of this week's What Just Happened. Hope you enjoyed it. Big thanks to Ash. Special thanks to Samara. Thanks to me as well. Thanks to all of you. We will be back next week with another edition of What Just Happened. I suggest very strongly that you be there.